Some fans said they had to stop reading halfway through the letter because it was too painful. Others read it over and over again, hoping to find some hidden meaning. Some small hint that maybe, just maybe, John wasn't really saying goodbye. The comment sections were full of messages that read like open letters in return. "Thank you, John, you changed our lives. Hudson and Rex helped me through so much." Each comment was a reminder that this show wasn't just television, it was therapy, comfort, and companionship for people around the world. Many fans shared stories about what Hudson and Rex meant to them personally. One woman wrote that she started watching during a difficult time after losing her own dog, and seeing Hudson's bond with Rex helped her heal. Another fan said the show helped him rebuild trust after a bad breakup, that it reminded him love could be loyal, simple, and pure. These were not just casual viewers, they were people whose lives had been quietly touched by the compassion, humor, and sincerity John brought to the screen. Across platforms like Reddit, Facebook, and Instagram, fans began posting clips of their favorite scenes: Hudson comforting Rex, Rex saving lives, or the quiet moments when they just sat together in peace. These little fragments of the show became memorials of sorts, digital candles for something beautiful that might be ending. Some fans even edited tribute videos, combining emotional music with John's letter quotes. Those videos gathered thousands of views, spreading the same message again and again: "Thank you, John, for everything in the middle of all this emotion." There was also a sense of unity. Fans from different countries, backgrounds, and languages came together, connected by the same love for Hudson and Rex. Some shared that they started watching the show to learn English, while others said it became a family tradition every weekend. Parents watched it with their kids, grandparents with their grandkids. It became a bridge between generations. The warmth and goodness that the show represented were rare, and losing even a part of it felt deeply personal. There was also something beautiful about how fans supported each other. Instead of anger or frustration, the online spaces were filled with empathy. People comforted one another, reminding each other that even if John was stepping away, the memories he created would stay forever. Some fans started a hashtag Thank You John Reardon, and within a few days, it was trending among the Hudson and Rex community. They shared fan art, messages, and even drawings of Hudson hugging Rex, accompanied by heartfelt captions about love, loyalty, and goodbyes. One touching post went viral: a simple image of Rex sitting by Hudson's desk, waiting. The caption read, "He'll always wait for you." It captured the emotional essence of what fans were feeling, the deep sense of loss, but also the unwavering hope that the bond between Hudson and Rex, between John and his audience, would never truly end. Some fans also pointed out how rare it is for an actor to connect so deeply with his audience. John Reardon had never been one for drama or public attention. He was quiet, humble, and genuine, and maybe that's why his words hit so hard. People trusted him. They believed in the sincerity behind every word. When he said he was grateful, they knew he meant it. When his letter carried sadness, they felt that too. It wasn't celebrity talk, it was human. Fan podcasts and YouTube channels dedicated special episodes to discuss the letter. Some hosts cried while reading it aloud. Others shared their personal experiences with the show. Many ended their discussions by saying that no matter what happens next, Hudson and Rex will always hold a special place in their hearts. Because of John, they talked about how he made them believe in kindness and how his portrayal of Hudson showed that strength doesn't always mean being tough. Sometimes, it means being gentle. Even the cast and crew began to notice the waves of love online. Co-stars and behind-the-scenes members liked fan posts or quietly shared them, showing that they, too, were feeling the emotional weight of John's message. It wasn't just a letter, it was a moment of connection that rippled through everyone who had ever been part of the show. What stood out the most was how the fans turned heartbreak into appreciation. Instead of focusing on the pain of what might be ending, they chose to celebrate what they had been given. They looked back at the laughter, the lessons, and the joy Hudson and Rex brought into their lives. The letter, though sad, became a reminder to cherish what truly matters: love, loyalty, and the stories that stay with us even after they end. And through every tearful post and emotional tribute, one thing became clear: Hudson and Rex was never just a show. It was a family, a shared experience that will continue to live on in the hearts of everyone who watched it. Even if the journey changes, the bond between John Reardon, Rex, and their fans will always remain loyal, heartfelt, and unbreakable. In the weeks following John Reardon's emotional letter, the Hudson and Rex world began to settle into a quiet, reflective calm. The noise of online discussions slowly softened, replaced by something more meaningful: gratitude. Fans who had spent days in disbelief started to realize that what John had built wasn't ending. It was becoming a legacy, a lasting memory woven into the hearts of millions. His words had created something powerful, something that would outlive episodes and seasons. They reminded everyone that stories don't die when the cameras stop rolling, they live on in the people who believed in them. John Reardon had always been the steady heartbeat of Hudson and Rex. He wasn't the loudest or flashiest actor, but that was exactly what made him unforgettable. He brought a natural warmth to the role of Detective Charlie Hudson, making viewers feel like they knew him personally. There was something deeply human about him, a quiet strength, a kindness that wasn't performed but felt. That honesty, both on and off screen, turned him from a character into a companion. When he smiled, you believed it. When he hurt, you felt it. When he wrote that heartfelt letter, it felt like a piece of your own story had ended too. What's remarkable is how Hudson and Rex became more than entertainment. It became a moral compass in small, subtle ways. It taught lessons about patience, understanding, and unconditional love. Every episode carried a message that loyalty doesn't need words, that trust is built through small acts, and that even in a world filled with chaos, there's room for goodness. John's portrayal of Hudson made these lessons feel real. His bond with Rex wasn't just acting, it was a reflection of the best parts of humanity. That's why fans didn't just watch the show, they carried its spirit into their own lives. Since the letter, many fans have said that rewatching the show feels different now. Every smile, every scene between Hudson and Rex carries a deeper weight. It's no longer just about solving mysteries. It's about cherishing the connection between two souls who understood each other without needing to speak. It's about remembering how stories like this remind us that love, in all its forms, is timeless. People are now rewatching old episodes, not with sadness, but with appreciation. They're noticing the little details, the way Hudson pauses before a tough decision, the way Rex tilts his head as if he understands every word. It's those moments that keep John's legacy alive. The production team hasn't made any official statements about the show's future, and that uncertainty leaves fans both anxious and hopeful. Some believe the story might continue with a new direction, while others feel it should close gracefully, honoring what John created. But no matter what happens, one truth stands strong. John Reardon's mark on Hudson and Rex is permanent. Even if new faces join the cast, his presence will always echo through the show, in the tone, the storytelling, and the spirit of every loyal partnership that comes after. There's also something poetic about how John chose to say goodbye, not with a press conference or dramatic announcement, but with a letter, a quiet message, written from the heart, letting his fans feel the sincerity of his emotions. In a world where many chase attention, he chose authenticity. That's what makes this moment so powerful. He reminded everyone that endings don't always need noise. Sometimes, they just need honesty, and that kind of honesty stays. As time goes on, the show will remain a symbol of comfort for people. New viewers will discover it, not knowing the story behind the letter, but they'll still feel its warmth. They'll still see the same love and loyalty that touched those who watched it from the beginning. And for the longtime fans, it'll always be more than a show, it'll be a memory, a chapter of their lives that shaped how they see friendship, trust, and resilience. John Reardon's farewell has done something rare. It's turned sadness into gratitude. Fans aren't just mourning the possibility of an ending, they're celebrating everything that came before it. They're realizing that what made Hudson and Rex so special wasn't the plot or the setting, but the heart behind it, a heart that John carried with quiet grace. His letter wasn't just a goodbye, it was a reminder to cherish every connection, to value the moments that make life meaningful, and to understand that every story, no matter how it ends, leaves a piece of love behind. In the end, that's what John Reardon gave his fans, not just a performance, but a feeling, a sense of peace, loyalty, and humanity that will stay long after the final credits fade. Whether Hudson and Rex continues or not, John's spirit will always be there in every loyal glance between man and dog, in every story about trust, and in every... A heartfelt letter from John Reardon has left Hudson and Rex fans in shock. It's the kind of message no one expected, emotional, honest, and deeply personal. When an actor like John, who has been the heart of the show for years, opens up in this way, you can feel every word. Fans are calling it heartbreaking, and after hearing what he said, you'll understand why. For years, Hudson and Rex has been more than just a television show. It's been a story about friendship, loyalty, and trust between a man and his dog. At the center of it all is John Reardon, who plays Detective Charlie Hudson, and Diesel von Bergenwald, the dog who brings Rex to life. Together, they've built something special that goes far beyond the screen. Fans didn't just watch their adventures, they felt them. Every chase, every case, and every emotional moment became a part of the viewers' lives. John's calm presence, his sense of humor, and his deep bond with Rex turned the show into something comforting, something people could turn to at the end of a long day. It wasn't just about solving crimes, it was about connection. The way Hudson looked at Rex, the way he trusted him without words, showed an understanding that most of us can only dream of having with our pets. That chemistry between them wasn't acting, it felt real. It was real enough to make fans cry, laugh, and cheer as if they were part of the team. When the show first aired, no one expected it to grow into such a beloved series. It started as a simple Canadian police drama, but quickly became a fan favorite across countries. Viewers from all over the world connected with its heartwarming message that loyalty and love can exist in the most unexpected partnerships. And at the center of that message stood John Reardon, the quiet, strong and deeply human face of Hudson and Rex. Over the years, fans have watched John's character evolve from a sharp detective to a man shaped by experience and compassion. His moments with Rex, the gentle pats, the soft talks, the scenes where Hudson confides in his four-legged partner, those were the moments that made people fall in love with the show. Many fans have said that watching Hudson and Rex helped them through lonely nights or tough times, that the bond between the two gave them hope. That's why John's recent letter hit so hard. Because it didn't come from an actor promoting a show, it came from someone who truly cared. It was honest. It was emotional. It was real. John's words reminded fans that behind every episode, behind every smile, there's a person who has lived and loved the story just as much as the audience. His letter wasn't just an update, it was a thank you, a reflection, and perhaps a goodbye. The timing of it added to the heartbreak. As fans eagerly waited for news about the next season, they instead found themselves reading a message that felt like the closing of a chapter. John spoke about gratitude, about the journey he's shared with everyone, and about the challenges that come with letting go. The tone of his message was gentle but heavy, the kind of tone that makes you pause and realize that something meaningful is changing. People started sharing the letter online, quoting lines that touched them the most. Some said they couldn't stop crying. Others said it felt like losing a friend. It wasn't just about the show. It was about everything that Hudson and Rex meant to them, the sense of family, the lessons of loyalty, and the belief that even in dark times, companionship can bring light. For many, John Reardon isn't just an actor, he's the heart of Hudson and Rex. And when the heart speaks, people listen. His letter reminded everyone why the show mattered in the first place. It wasn't about the fame or the success. It was about the love behind it. Love for the work, the people, the dog, and most importantly, the fans who made it all worthwhile. And now, as fans process his emotional message, one question lingers in everyone's mind. Is this the end? When John Reardon's letter first appeared online, it didn't come with big headlines or fancy promotions. It was quiet, almost hidden, just a few heartfelt paragraphs that felt like a whisper from someone who needed to speak, but didn't want to make a scene. The moment fans began reading it, they realized it wasn't just another celebrity post. It was something raw, emotional, and real. It was the kind of message that makes you stop scrolling and just feel. John began his letter by talking about gratitude. He thanked the people who had stood by him since the very first season of Hudson and Rex. He mentioned how he never imagined the show would grow into something that touched so many hearts around the world. His words painted a picture of someone genuinely humbled by the love he had received. You welcomed us into your homes, week after week, he wrote, and made our stories part of your lives. For that, I'll always be grateful. Those lines alone were enough to bring tears to many eyes, because it wasn't just a polite thank you, it was deeply personal. Like a letter written to friends, not fans. Then, the tone of the message slowly shifted. John spoke about time, about change, and about the things that can't last forever. He wrote about how every story has an ending, even the ones we wish could go on. There was no dramatic announcement, no clear confirmation that he was leaving, but the feeling between the lines was heavy. Fans could sense it, the quiet pain of someone saying goodbye without fully saying it. It was the kind of message that breaks your heart not because of what it says, but because of what it doesn't. He talked about the long nights on set, the early mornings, the laughter between takes, and the deep connection he shared with Diesel, the dog who plays Rex. He wrote about how Rex wasn't just a cook, but a true partner, one who listened, trusted, and gave him comfort during tough moments. John described how filming certain scenes felt so real that it was easy to forget the cameras were even there. There were times, he wrote, when Rex looked at me in a way that reminded me what loyalty really means. Those words hit home for everyone who has ever loved a dog. The letter also reflected a side of John that fans rarely saw, the human being behind the actor. He opened up about the emotional weight of portraying a character like Charlie Hudson, a man who had lost, who healed, who learned to trust again. John said that playing Hudson taught him a lot about himself, about patience and resilience, and about finding light even when things feel dark. He wrote, "Sometimes, the hardest part of a story is knowing when to turn the page." It was a simple sentence, but it carried the weight of farewell. The honesty of the letter made it unforgettable. There were no polished words, no rehearsed lines, just truth. You could feel that John wasn't writing as an actor, but as a person who had lived something beautiful and was now trying to find peace with the idea that it might be coming to an end. Fans flooded social media with messages of love and support. Some shared how Hudson and Rex helped them during difficult times. Others wrote that John's calm and gentle nature had inspired them in real life. It became clear that this wasn't just a show to people, it was a comfort, a companion, a piece of home. As the letter spread, so did the heartbreak. Many fans said it felt like a goodbye letter without the word goodbye. There was something so human about it, something that reminded everyone that behind every character they love, there's a person with their own struggles and emotions. Some readers said they reread it multiple times, hoping they had misunderstood, hoping it didn't mean what it seemed to mean. But the tone was undeniable, soft, final, and full of love. What made the letter even more emotional was how John spoke about the fans themselves. He didn't just thank them, he told them how much they mattered. He mentioned fan letters, the kind messages he'd received over the years, and how those small notes made long days on set easier. He said, "You made me feel seen. You made me feel that what we were doing mattered." For an actor to say that is rare. It wasn't about fame, it was about connection, about the shared experience between a performer and the people who watched him grow. By the time readers reached the final lines of his letter, the tears were unavoidable. John wrote, "No matter where life takes me next, Hudson and Rex will always be a part of who I am. Thank you for believing in me, for believing in us." It was a soft, tender goodbye wrapped in gratitude. There was no drama, no final curtain, just warmth, honesty, and love. When the letter ended, it left silence, the kind of silence that lingers after something meaningful. Fans sat with it, processing what they had just read, trying to come to terms with what might come next. It wasn't just a post-it, was a moment in time, one that marked the end of something beautiful and the beginning of something unknown. The truth is, we often forget that the people who bring our favorite stories to life are living stories of their own. And John Reardon's letter reminded everyone of that truth. It wasn't just about saying goodbye to a show, it was about appreciating what it gave us while it lasted. It was about love, loyalty, and the bittersweet beauty of letting go. When John Reardon's letter began circulating online, it spread faster than anyone expected. Within hours, fan pages, discussion groups, and social media feeds were flooded with screenshots, quotes, and emotional reactions. It was as if the entire Hudson and Rex community had paused at the same moment, united by the same feeling, heartbreak. People who had never spoken to each other before found themselves sharing the same sadness, the same gratitude, and the same disbelief that something they loved so deeply might be changing forever.